I would never tell somebody to go raw into something unless they were willing to. So as I always say, meet yourself where you are. If you're reaching for that drink, pause and ask yourself, why am I doing this? What is it that I'm running away from? Or what is it that all of a sudden I hear stress and I had a bad day? I just reach like default. Before just going autopilot, interrupt these patterns by asking the question. It doesn't mean changing it right away because your nervous system has a threshold and you don't want to go beyond that because it can be a significant crash.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Love, Laughs, and Lessons. And I'm Dr. Frankie.
I'm Denise Rai. Today's guest is someone whose work is deeply personal, profoundly impactful, and refreshingly real. Natalie Bedard, known to many as Nat², is a trauma-informed emotional healing expert, energy worker, and the voice behind the Lift Oneself podcast. She doesn't just talk about healing, she embodies it. From surviving a life-threatening illness to raising a child on her own, Nat²'s journey into this work wasn't a choice, it was a calling. She specializes in helping people regulate their nervous systems, reconnect with their emotions, and move from chronic stress and shutdown to inner peace and emotional sobriety. I love that, emotional sobriety. But this isn't just about trends or buzzwords. This is about deep, often messy work of learning to feel safe in your body again and how that changes everything. Nat², welcome. Let's begin right where your story starts. When did you first realize that this was the work that you were meant to do?
I think I've always known since a child, yet I denied it. I pushed it away. I didn't think I was good enough for it. And how life will always redirect you. It brings you right exactly where you are. And I took a different view of it, being a solo parent and navigating through all of the journeys that I've gone through. And then, as you mentioned, the lesions in my brain. And when I was faced with, being told I was going to die, that just cracked things open even more profoundly and just going really inwardly and finally allowing myself to have the confidence to be in my gift, be in that gift of holding space, understanding nervous system language, and allowing people to feel their authentic emotions. And there's a lot of buzzwords about trauma, a lot of buzzwords about authenticity, yet the embodiment is where I'm asking people to return home to, back into their bodies, to drop out of their head and to drop into that body and feel their emotions and regulate their nervous system. And not in a way that you're trying to get rid of something. It's all about integration and giving context to yourself, understanding what was protection and why you did the things that you did, that you weren't aware of, that even though a lot of us hear the saying, when you know better, you do better, that doesn't always match up all the time. You may know something, yet the doing takes some time to catch up to that. And sometimes, in society, they'll berate you a lot of times that, well, you shouldn't have, you did it. And it's like, well, my biology is hijacked by something. So I wish I could get, ahead of my behavior, yet being able to feel your emotions and that fear and that nervous system allows you to have that integration of a wholeness with the W.
So that makes so much sense because it's like autopilot. We're just out there functioning, right? Trying to do our best. And if you're not aware of what's happening within your body, then you've got like blindfolds on and you're just allowing your body to be, your whatever autopilot mode to make decisions.
You're on a script.
Yeah.
You're on a script.
Yeah.
Coping mechanisms and what quote unquote feels safe. Yet now when you look at it, it's like, oh, I'm reaching for scraps. I'm limiting myself. I'm dulling myself. I'm dimming myself down because that feels safe. Yet it's also harming me because I'm supposed to be bigger. I'm supposed to be brighter. I'm supposed to be able to connect and be able to feel free to be myself. Yet many people, unfortunately, in the world that we are, they don't have that safety. And as much as you can tell somebody, oh, just be yourself, the environment doesn't allow that. So let's not harm people with their spiritual texts and their mindset, guru stuff. It's like, let's meet people where they are so that they can at least be in their inner world, not just, oh, well, you should just be, what this is. And it's like, you're harming a lot of people by doing that, by not being realistic of what there is. Like, the reason why I started doing this work too is because in the spiritual aspect, it can be like, oh, this isn't real. And I understand that. Yet we're in a human world that has a nervous system that will feel pain and has to go through experiences in this world. So I wanted to bring that integration in there, that it's not just spirituality, it's your human experience also, and integrate the two together.
It just reminds me of like on TikTok these days, you're hearing things like get fit in 1 month on Instagram. I'm like, that's a blatant lie. So it's this, so what I'm hearing you say is it's like, yeah, it's something, it's sort of like you got to start where you're at and begin the process, and it's going to take time. And there's all different aspects and elements to it to bring to our awareness, and practicing, making small attempts, little steps, create big change. So help me understand emotional sobriety. I know Denise mentioned that in the introduction. Like, what is that?
Yeah. So I'm presently creating a course called Raw Healing, which will be a bigger container. Yet emotional sobriety is where I walk people in an hour, where it's basically what my one-on-one sessions are, that they get to understand their nervous system. They get to understand what really triggers are. They get to understand what belief systems, expectations, and then I guide them into a meditation so that they can interact with being intentional and interact with their nervous system to go much more profound. You see, how I define the ego is the defense mechanisms of your nervous system. So if the defense mechanisms are up, it's not going to let you go into vulnerability and sensitivity because it has deemed it as unsafe. And your nervous system always wants to protect you. Yet it needs safety. And many of us, again, when we have been harmed, have experienced very traumatic experiences with pain, it doesn't feel safe to come back into our body. So being able to have that safety and guiding people in there, then they're able to go into a much of profoundness of seeing things from the inside out, not looking from the outside in. So the emotional sobriety is finally feeling these authentic emotions that you've never were able to feel. Many of us as a child, we were told not to feel the emotion that we were feeling. How many don't cry? I'll give you something to cry about. And it's like, oh, so this authentic emotion I'm feeling isn't the right feeling I should be feeling because other people are telling me something. So we started believing the lie and, abandoning the truth of what our body's wisdom was trying to express to us.
That's right.
And so coming back home to that and feeling that authentic, there's a sobriety to it. It doesn't feel good at first.
So I have a question. So does this mean that you also have to abandon your, like, maybe some maladaptive coping skills? Like if somebody's drinking to decompress at the end of the day, does that mean to do this emotional sobriety, they all also have to let go of some coping mechanisms that block them from being connected to themselves?
I would never tell somebody to go raw into something unless they were willing to. So as I always say, meet yourself where you are. If you're reaching for that drink, pause and ask yourself, why am I doing this? What is it that I'm running away from? Or what is it that all of a sudden I hear stress and I had a bad day? I just reach like default. Before just going autopilot, interrupt these patterns by asking the question. It doesn't mean changing it right away because your nervous system has a threshold and you don't want to go beyond that because it can be a significant crash, especially if you don't have a proper support system and a container to help you when all this stuff gets unraveled and all these energies and emotions and experiences. It can be a real spinning going on. So if you are coping with vices, many of us know the vice of numbing with social media and just thumb scrolling or bed rotting. Okay, when you're doing that, if you can bring in an interruption and ask, what am I actually avoiding right now? Why am I reaching for this? What am I actually feeling inside so that you can integrate the two? And then you can go beyond. If you're willing to go raw dog, which I have, I did a year of not spending. I took sex out, I took alcohol, I took all that. Yet I had death on my door and I didn't have a diagnosis. So I had a different motivation firing underneath me. If you're
Mhm.
able to do that, just be aware there's a lot of stuff that's going to come up, a lot
Wow.
of things that your nervous system was soothed by this, and now it's like, okay, where's the soothing, where, and it's like, no, we're willing to face that. So it requires you to slow down things. It's slow and steady. We're very, we're trained to go really fast, and especially with technology, we're on to the next thing. We're not even able to be present with where we are right now. So allowing that to come up, recognize and have radical compassion for yourself, that there's some stuff that's going to come up that's very foreign to you, that's going to change certain behaviors. And it's also going to bring you some lightness that, oh, I could let go of this and I don't have to be this way. I can tell somebody a no. I can give myself a yes, or I don't have to be in this parameter with this person. I can just remove myself and it's not bad, so that you
Mhm.
can readjust and understand your inner terrain with your nervous system.
Hmm. How do people then okay, so I'm going to go back a little bit to what you said earlier. We were brought up in households where we were told to, stop crying, do all of these different things where we weren't able to express properly. And now you wear that armor to get through the world, right? And like Dr. Frankie made a mention of, now you have all these maladaptive behaviors to protect yourself. At where do you recognize, and how would a person, our listeners, recognize that they need what you're offering, that they need to unravel and come back home to self?
Many of us have this gnawing feeling that things aren't going the way they are, or we're not feeling fullness of life. And a lot of times we just ignore it. It's like it's just a little ache or a little nudge, and it's like, oh, I can just ignore it, ignore it. Yet eventually, at a certain time, life presents it, and you no longer can run away from it.
Yeah.
What I offer is try to help people be proactive instead of reactive. That when life came crashing down, all of a sudden you need my resources. You can come to that before then, so that you can be engaged with this and you can work with it. Everybody, I'm still working with my nervous system. There's still a lot of profound things. Like my friend just transitioned in November, and through that grief, it brought me even more profound into my childhood memories and blockages that were going on, and better understanding myself.
Mhm.
So there is no arrival with this. Yet the glimmers of finding out, it's recognizing, am I willing to see if there's a difference in life? Am I willing to finally start facing myself? Am I willing to, many of us can tell when we're overdoing something, but we just don't know how to get ahead of it, or be honest about it. It's really asking yourself, am I willing to be honest? Am I willing to, peek into seeing, is there a different way of living? Is there a different way of being alive? Is there a different way of relating to myself? So, unfortunately, a lot of times it's when people are in significant crisis that they'll come see me. Yet there's others that are very proactive and they're like, you know what, I've gone this part of my healing, but there's just more depth and I'm just not able to get there. And that's where a lot of people come with me, because I go so deep so quickly. Where, like, one client referenced it, he was like, you know, the way that you space hold is much more unique than others, because a lot of people change the furniture on the outside, where you're
Mhm.
bringing me on the inside to really understand why it's feeling the way it is. And you're also allowing me to trust the wisdom of my body. Many of us, like you said, in our childhood, we haven't been able to trust ourselves. We haven't been able to feel those emotions
Yeah.
and listen
I,
to the information.
I think there are also plenty of people out there that have learned how to adapt and act as if, and they're successful in their lives professionally and even with family and things like that. But interpersonally, in a romantic relationship, they struggle because they don't know how to be in their authentic selves. They don't know
Mhm.
what they're experiencing somatically in their body and why they're feeling that. And they're ignoring that part of them and they invalidate it because that's what they saw. They were invalidated. It was like, oh, You're upset, go to your room, work it out. And when you pull yourself together, come back.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
And so I think there are
Big
people,
girls don't cry.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it's not just people, I think, in crisis, Nat, like you're saying, it's also people who are very high functioning, but like they're not getting to a place of depth and intimacy in their romantic relationships because they don't have access to this part of them. They're not aware of it. Is that,
Of course, many people don't realize intimacy is always inwardly. We think intimacy is on the outside. Yet if we can't be naked with our own selves, how can we show our naked truth to somebody else? Yet we're going on the outside to help people, tell people, make me feel safe, make me feel safe.
That's right.
And I get that. We're always trying to co-regulate, yet it's to learn that the accountability is you were always safe within. You just have lost that knowledge of being in that worth, being in that connection, of really relating with your nervous system. You've treated it as some evil thing where it's like, oh no, there's a significant power. Let me better understand and integrate that. So yeah, we use a lot of partners to soothe our wounds. We
right.
try to find that safety, validate me, make me feel loved, make me feel held, make me feel
complete
that.
me. Remember that?
Complete me. That's right. As
Jerry
we continue
Maguire?
to live in that same way and then keep selecting these partners that aren't able to assist, because what you're saying and what Dr. Frankie's saying too is that it's coming from inside of you.
We have to
Yes.
complete ourselves is what
We
I'm
have to
hearing.
complete themselves. Yeah. Yeah.
And I get that sounds all great intellectually. Yet what I help people is feel it in your body. Feel in your body to acknowledge the fear. We're in a society that doesn't even want to talk about fear, and that fear is garbage and you shouldn't have fear. And it's like a healthy nervous system has to feel fear. It has one function, don't die. Yet we have a lot of psychosomatic that is activating the fear. And we're looping in stories and, like you said, maladaptive coping mechanisms and all that, because we haven't been able to feel our authentic emotions and be able to express it. It's so difficult to be honest with somebody else. Yet the major thing is being honest with ourselves. We tell ourselves different stories. Oh, armor up, or be this person, or be that, rather than, can you see yourself with tenderness and sensitivity? Can you hold that safe container of feeling more than one emotion? It's not just one emotion that you're feeling. There's a multitude, yet most times it's only one that we can see in the center stage. Yet once you start doing that emotional sobriety, you can see the spectrum of all the different emotions that you're feeling and can understand why you can be overwhelmed and just shut off or just cannot communicate, because there's so many things that are coming up. And
that makes me
Okay.
think of anger. It's just like anger is so clearly identifiable and it empowers you, but it's a surface emotion. Usually beneath that, there's sadness, shame, right? The tough stuff is beneath it.
It's a protective emotion.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
Protective. It's protective. And we don't even know, like, anger has such a bad rap. It's a very healthy emotion. It's a very healthy emotion. It's the behavior, because it goes into fight or flight. And so we don't have control of that because we're not meeting the nervous system to let it know, reel in what's going on. What are you trying to signal? Because anger is usually protecting, like you said, the sadness or the fear. And it's also protecting your boundaries, that you're being harmed, that you don't even know how to advocate for yourself anymore. So your system's trying to advocate for you with this intense energy, but it's like a wild stallion. You don't know how to control this thing.
Yeah.
You're not reading it. Yeah. So, and we are hearing this a lot, this nervous system deregulation. What exactly does it mean? Because TikTok guru, Google guru, everybody armchair. That's right. Everyone is just throwing it around.
Yeah. So we all can tell when we're in a homeostasis. So homeostasis means the body's communicating. All the systems are communicating. We all can tell when we're in our center, where everything feels open, nothing's impacting us. We're not too high, we're not too low. We're in a baseline. What happens is the nervous system has its one function, don't die. It has all these sensations of detecting the world. So we have belief systems and expectations that we've scripted in our mind that we have to meet to feel safe. So the nervous system goes off of feeling and sensations. It doesn't know past, it doesn't know present, it doesn't know future. All it knows is feelings and scripts that you've created. So it goes through your senses, hearing, smell, touch, all of our senses and even more to detect, to keep yourself safe. And all of a sudden, when something hits one of those parameters of a belief or expectations, ring the alarm, dysregulation. It's like a fire alarm went off, something's going wrong. And so we have 5 stages of F's. We have the fight, flight. Oh, sorry, not 5, 4. Fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. So the fawn is now introduced, where people were like, oh, now it makes sense why I'm people pleasing, because I had to do that to keep myself safe as a child. Yet now I'm recognizing I don't have to do that, but it's a real visceral, I got to fix, and I got to be the rescuer for people. So understanding that when this alarm is going off in our body, a lot of emotions are coming up. And when we were children, many of us didn't have secure attachments, and we didn't have a space to process this stuff. So now the nervous system has created coping mechanisms from we're a child of, okay, if this is going on and somebody said, this is how we're going to adjust, this is how we're going to keep ourselves safe, Yet eventually we create all these layers of mass, and then eventually the body can't sustain the energy of all that, because there's authentic is trying to come up, but then it's being squashed down by the nervous system. No, it's not safe. Can't do that. What I'm introducing to people is to come in there and be able to signal down, to be in this nervous system. Like you said, we're an autopilot. And I give a visual for people. It's like a Tesla. Most people are in this nervous system and it's auto driving. They don't even know that they can, wait, I can take it automatic, or I can get manual and do things. They have no idea what a nervous system is. So I bring them in to understand biology and what's going on internally, and that they can start to feel the cues in their body of when it's activated, this nervous system, and that it's signaling there's something wrong, there's something of danger. And it doesn't mean that there's something. It could be as simple, I got to call my boss and tell him about something, but I'm afraid of getting fired, which may not happen, but the nervous system is just trying to send out all the problems of possibilities, not the possibilities of the openness. That's why when you can regulate, that's when openness can come in and you can see possibilities. You can be optimistic. So when you're hearing people very negative, they're in a dysregulated nervous system, because the nervous system is fed into negative bias. It's always looking for problems. It doesn't know how to find solutions. It's just, this is the problem. That's what's going to keep us safe. It's just calculating that way. Yet when you can be in your center and regulate, that's when that openness of seeing what's possible, what's beyond, what is joy. It's very easy to get into fear if we're attached to that nervous system.
So it's just making me think of, just thinking about biology and the amygdala and the frontal lobe of the brain, and that fight between the two, because the amygdala is feeling, right? It's how we know, okay, we're feeling sadness or whatever. And then the frontal lobe wants to react, and it's the one that's in charge of judgment. So one kind of hijacks the other, I think, when there's that dysregulation. Yeah.
And there's this conflict. And what I want to bring to show is the integration, so that they don't have to fight with each other. You can feel and still take a pause, not be in that reaction, not be in that stimulus, to be in that response. But many of us don't even know how to interrupt and take a pause for a minute and feel.
That's right. Yeah. Or what they should be feeling, right? I'm sorry, Dr. Frankie. Do you remember this? Go ahead.
Yeah, go for it. No, I'm going to hold it. I can do this, my menopause brain. I'm going to hold it.
You're going to, okay.
Go for it.
You know how we used to say count to 10, before you speak. But if you don't know why you're counting to 10, then it continuously happens over and over, because you get to that 110, then you're triggered again, and then it's another and another and another and another. That's all I wanted to say. So go ahead.
Exactly. And it was told to you like judgment.
That's why I was like, maybe you should go first. But okay.
I forgot, but it's gonna come back. I'm telling you, it's gonna come back. It's gonna come back. But no, I think So slowing down and becoming aware of what it is that one is feeling and how they're wanting to react. Oh, I know what I was going to say. Okay. Collaboration. Like oftentimes when we're activated and our nervous system is not state, right? It's escalated. We're not able to think collaboratively and be curious about why we're feeling this way and what is there a way to work with this person or this situation collaboratively to come to a solution that's mutually acceptable.
Mhm. And what you can start to understand is, and with every therapy, what they start to have you do is I statements. Rather than you take power of I. So if all of a sudden you're activated and you're like, oh, you're just doing, and it's like, wait a minute, what am I hiding from? What am I feeling? What is the experience I'm interpreting? How am I interpreting this other person that I may not even allow space to see their perspective? I'm only jammed into my own perspective. So that collaboration of when you can start doing I and empower yourself to see you, because we're so quick to see everybody else. It's so easy to see the elephant in the room with everybody else. Yet when you're alone with the elephant in the room, you need safety for it to reveal itself to you. So as you said, it's that collaboration of taking these, intentional pauses. And if you would allow me, if we can go into a mindful moment so I can show the listeners and yourselves a tool to start this interruption. And, when people do it with me, they're like, oh my gosh, this was great. And I have a gift of my frequency and the co regulation with the nervous system. Yet you're able to practice with this. Like, and a lot of times people want to practice this when the house is already on fire without knowing all the safety rules of the fire. And it doesn't work. And then they get frustrated and it's like, oh, I told you it doesn't work. And it's like, no, you do this in safety so that you can remember, oh, yeah, this is a tool I can use to get activated, because your brain's not going to think of these things. This is a new habit you're introducing to yourself.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it for sure. Yeah.
Okay. And for the listeners, many of you sometimes are using your visual safety first. So when I ask Dr. Frankie and Denise to close their eyes, please don't. Just keep them open, yet you're able to use the other props. So, ladies, I'll ask you to get comfortable in your seating. And if it's safe to do so, you're going to gently close your eyes. And you're going to begin breathing in and out through your nose, bringing your awareness to watching the rhythm of your breath. You're not going to try and control your rhythm. You're just going to be aware of it, allowing it to guide you into your body. There may be some sensations or feelings coming up, and that's okay. Let them surface. You're safe to feel. You're safe to let go. Surrender the need to control. Release the need to resist and just be. Be with your breath. Drop deeper into your body. Now, there may be some thoughts or to-do lists that have come up, and that's okay. Gently bring your awareness back to your breath, creating space between the awareness and the thoughts, and dropping deeper into the body, being in the space of presence, of being. Again, more thoughts may have come up. Gently bring your awareness back to your breath, beginning again, creating even more space between the awareness and the thoughts, and completely surrendering into the body, allowing yourself to be in the space of being in your breath. Just watching that rhythm, that breath, and feeling. Now being in your senses in this present moment, at your own time and at your own pace, you're going to gently open your eyes while staying with your breath. So this is a significant tool that you can use. I held the silence as much, but I'm aware that we're on a podcast and silence can feel very threatening for people. Yet, if they engaged in that, many people don't want to leave that space that we were just in. Because what happens is I brought you into not identifying with the nervous system and the part of the mind that wants to make meaning for everything, that you could just be and understand your nervous system and not try to push it away, just de-identify with it and be in that space that's in the oneness. That's why I have the company called Lift Oneself. It's lift the ego to be in that oneself, and that's the defense mechanisms of that nervous system. So our breath is always in present time, but sometimes when we're activated, we forget about our breath. We don't even know how to breathe properly. And when we are aware, all of a sudden we're shallow. We're not even able to take full breaths. Yet, if you can anchor yourself to be a nose breather, some people it's difficult because of their body and conditions. Yet, if you can create the habit of nasal breathing, it brings profoundness of oxygen into your body, but it also starts to interrupt and you become more and more present so that you can tune into what your body's trying to communicate to you and that you can see what's here now and what's present so that you're not always looking from the outside in. You can start looking from the inside out, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I noticed I kept getting distracted by my thoughts. I have lots going on in my head all the time. So I just have to kind of bring myself back repeatedly, keep coming back to my breath, keep coming back. Yeah. Is that pretty common for folks?
Yeah, that's your nervous system is doing exactly what it's supposed to do. And so it's like, okay, I don't have to be in that stream of thoughts though. And so the more that you practice it, you see that, okay, I don't have to always calculate things or see all the thoughts or be in there. If I really need it, it will come to me. So bringing back that awareness, and if it's really activating, it's asking the system, your nervous system, what is it that you're trying to communicate to me? Because if it's flooding with a lot of things, it's like, okay, it's danger, there's something. So it's being able to listen, to meet it and be like, okay, because when I was going through the beginning of grief when Natalie transitioned, as much as I know energy doesn't die and all that, I'm still going through a human experience. So my nervous system is ramping up. So it's meaning that, okay, and it's like the helplessness doesn't feel good. Her not being here doesn't feel good. And it's like, okay, I get that. Hold space for that. And as I say this, my body's tingling because it's like, oh, you're seeing me, you're validating, you understand. You're not going to minimize it. You're not going to try to be head down and deny the body. You're going to be whole as a W and work with it, not diminish your sensitivity, your empathy, your vulnerability. Actually empower it to have resilience, that it doesn't break you down, that you can be present with people. And that's what we're looking for in the world now, is connection and community and villages. We've gone amok with this independence and power and all about me. It's like, no,
no, we don't thrive like that.
Yeah.
Totally. We thrive as humans in relationship.
Yeah.
Not solo walking, trying to navigate this tough life on our own. That's just
ridiculous.
Too much.
Each other home.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Ram Dass says, we're all walking each other home, and we forget that.
Yeah.
Because the world, we forget that we're not the nervous system. It's housing our spirit. And we don't even know how to meet the nervous system to give it the safety it needs, because it's getting lured out into the world so much. And it's thinking, well, I'm this. And it's like, you're not this. Yet it does feel this way. And like I said at the beginning, not everybody's environment is safe. So let's not pretend that all these things can happen. It's meet yourself in the moment and feel those emotions and hold space. And then if anger has to armor you up because, you're physically being harmed, then you armor yourself up and you go through the experience. Yet you have to learn to disarmor also. And many of us don't know how to come out of that.
Yeah.
And it's for many of us who are in toxic, unsafe relationships are afraid to disarmor. The armor is helping us survive every day.
Exactly. and it's safety, and that's why it's honoring the protection. Because
Mhm.
in our mind we may know that we're in a unhealthy relationship and it might be abusive, yet there's something in our body that's keeping us there because it feels like home, because it's predictable. That's what we've known to predict.
Mhm.
To come out of that feels like a violation. Like, I don't know how to feel safe. I don't know how to feel my worth. I just feel that this person will make me feel safe. But there's a gnawing part that's always like, no, there's more. Like, this isn't supposed to be here. But once you're ready, your system will support you. But some of
Yeah.
us, we think we have to, like, head it through. And some people it works, yet a lot of people, they go past their threshold of their nervous system and you see a collapse and them, fall down, and it takes so long for them to come back up and be with their system and everything else.
I think that's the whole running to substances, right? Or addictive behaviors is just so that they can cope. It's
Yeah.
their system is overloaded.
Mhm. And it's
But
always
I
protection.
Yeah.
yeah. But I think you mentioned something earlier too, is that, the obvious addictions like drugs and alcohol, right? Those are the ones that we look at, or sex. But there are the small addictions like the scrolling, those little dopamine hits that we're getting, the
Oh, we're
gossip.
we're
Yeah.
being bad.
Yeah. The
We
complaining.
don't realize.
Yeah.
We don't realize what this social media is doing to our
Oh,
dopamine receptors.
oh my gosh,
And
wreaking havoc.
it's really,
Bad.
really, and we're getting into a crisis. And then what's the solution? Take more medication. That's more suppression and numbing. And then it's like, oh, we're going to end up like, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie The Joker, where eventually medication's not going to work anymore and everybody's in crisis and just anarchy and not wanting to
Dysregulated.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's right.
So it's recognized, and I thank you for bringing this up. I mentioned a little bit, like, with the thumb scrolling. There are
Hmm.
many ways that we addict to avoid being present, and it's
Hmm.
protection. There's no way to be always connected at all times. So let's not try to bring perfection in this. I'm like, I always smash the perfection thing. It's like there is no perfection in healing. It's always, where are you right now, and meet it and be honest with yourself. If you need to go get that drink, be honest. Don't act like, oh, and don't berate yourself that you did it. Just be honest of, it's too much right now and this is what is needed, so that
Yeah.
you can meet yourself and you're not going asleep to things. The small addictions are also eating, work,
Hmm.
being productive, also just not doing anything. This is another part where it's, you want to do more, but your system is keeping you safe. So, like, when we use the word lazy, it's like, oh no, your system's protecting you.
That's
Because
right.
whatever action you want to take, it feels too big, it feels too expansive, and it doesn't it match up with the narrative of not good enough.
Hmm.
So that
It
insecurity, it's making me think of like people who just don't feel confident enough to take the next step.
Yeah, or
It's fear.
support it.
Mm-hmm.
Support. Yeah. Yeah.
Because so many around them said, you're not able to do that. Like, stop thinking that way. Stop dreaming so big. Don't do that. Where do you think you can do that?
That's
And
right.
so when you're around naysayers, when you're in soil that isn't nutritious or has the proper nutrients, you don't know how to thrive and grow.
That's
Yeah.
right. You wither. Right. Yeah. I love that you use that analogy.
So that's why
Yeah.
we need these kind of communities where we can be honest and we can talk about things. And when somebody feels like they've done 10 steps behind, it's like, no, this is all part of the journey. It's like, okay, come back to the accountability and come back to, what are the steps that you're able to do right now?
Hmm.
Like, unfortunately, with sobriety, everybody's like, oh, I did 10 years and look how great. And then when they do that one drink, it diminished all the 10 years. And it's like, that's nonsense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
That's
It's black and
huge.
white. Yeah, it is very. I'm a proponent of AA, but I've seen how it can be it can feel punitive. But and it's like, it sort of reminds me of like, there's not one treatment modality or treatment approach that's a end all be all fix all. It's almost like you have to incorporate different modalities, different interventions, different frameworks to continue in our process of healing and growing and evolving. It's not one solution.
No.
Well, we're so multifaceted, right? And there's no arrival, right? And we're changing so much every day. and peeling. I know I'm dysregulated.
Like right
When
I am
now?
too.
Of course. Right now. Yes. Of
Okay.
course. Not of course. I shouldn't say of course. Yes. I'm so easily triggered. Um, I am easily triggered now, and I can walk myself off the ledge. I even have a buddy that I can call and be like, I am so triggered right now. I just need to breathe. Just like be with me on the phone and just let me breathe this through. But it brings up such emotion that I know that it's something that I need to work on, like
Right there's
really strongly.
co-regulation. Just to, you
Yeah.
just pointed out. Yeah,
Let's speak
co-regulation.
right now, Denise. I'd ask you to take your right hand and put it on your chest and just feel yourself right now. Okay. And feel that dysregulation, whatever that knot is, wherever that tension is, just connect into it. Don't intellectualize it. Just feel into it. And when you're feeling into it, allow the energy of safety to meet it. That it's okay to be seen. It's okay to feel the high alert. Yet that there's also safety in it, that you don't separate from it. And just feeling that warmth of your hand against your skin, to feel yourself held by yourself. And just going more a little deeper into that sensation and then nodding it, unclenching it, and letting the information surface up. And hearing the wisdom of what your body has for you right now. And when you're ready, you can be present here and still hold that space for yourself with your body. I can feel it. I can feel it. And I know it's there. And I know we're in a public space, so it's not a space to bring that vulnerability for everybody. I just want to honor and I feel it. And I'm communicating with your nervous system right now. Okay. And it's safe. It's safe. It's safe to be seen right now. And it's safe to come out of hiding. It's safe to be you.
And I just appreciate the vulnerability even in this moment. Here we are in
Yeah.
a public forum. Denise is with me. She works for me, right? It just takes a lot of vulnerability and trust and self-love to be human and show that, yeah, this is even this conversation right now is dysregulating.
Mhm. So it's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And I want to bring in another level. Our skin tones, Dr. Frankie, her nervous system has a threat to it. Does it feel safe to be in this space because of histories with our ancestors and the narrations and everything else? I'm biracial, but a lot of people see me as sometimes mixed or just the white lady or whatnot. Yet my nervous system has a Caribbean ancestry in it too. So I'm able to communicate with Denise right now. Yet these are the things that we aren't even aware or that we don't even want to bring into the dialogue, that these things are coming on, and some of it isn't even mine. It's rooted in our ancestors.
Yeah,
it's rooted
absolutely.
into these nervous systems. And this is where we create these safe spaces so that we can better understand that it's not just in my head, like my nervous system is communicating something. And do I feel safe in these environments? And that's
Yeah.
where we can create community in this. And I just want to bring this to the listeners also, that they can feel validated in, why do I get activated in certain spaces? But it's like your nervous system's trying to protect you. Like it's a valid thing. Intellectually, you're like, oh yeah, I'm okay. Yet your nervous system's like, are you sure? Like we have some things that are going on. And if we're not meeting that to really process it, we're just looping in history repeating itself.
That's right.
also awareness of how history is transmitted and passed down. That's in our cells. It's
Yeah.
there. And I think
Sure.
it's important to have that on our awareness on our radar as it is playing out day to day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. This was like very profound. I know I go deep,
Thank you.
and
Yes.
this is a space that I bring. So some people are like, and other people, they're engaged into it. And like Dr. Frankie said, like, Denise, thank you for being so vulnerable. And that's why I held it the way it was, because I understand we're in a public forum. You're also at work, because this is your work and everything else. So yet when we can be vulnerable, it gives permission to other people to be vulnerable, that they can
Yeah.
take themselves off this pedestal, and they're like, you know what, just like me, they're going through
That's
some
right.
stuff, and I can engage in this kind of work.
Absolutely. And thank you for holding that space for me. I think it's important to say, too, that, I am a high achiever, an overachiever. I was brought up to, you have to be better, right? Because I'm a Black woman. You have to be better. You have to perform better. You have to make sure that everything is on point all the time.
A lot of pressure.
It's a lot of pressure. But you step into it, and then to be able to get to, I'm 60 years old now, to be able to get to this point and be like, I need to rest. Like, I've been fighting all my life. I need to rest.
Yeah. And allow yourself to have that permission.
Yeah, absolutely. It's foreign, So
And it's visceral. Your body doesn't feel safe with it.
It doesn't. That's right.
It doesn't go with the belief system that has been ingrained in me. The indoctrination of this is survival, and this is unsafe. You will be harmed. Like, this is where I'm saying this is ancestral things. Like, slavery was not that far away, and that was ingrained in there. You don't have time to rest. If you are seen rested, you could get killed, or better, worse, you're going to get whipped and feel that pain.
That's right.
It's a real sensation and feeling that goes on. And even if we don't do slavery, some children with their parents, if you were seen to rest, no. What do you mean?
Right.
Resting?
What do you mean you
work,
rested?
Be productive.
Go be productive. That's right. You can't be this, or this. You have to be, and you have a Caribbean background, so you also know.
And I come from an immigrant family in Middle East.
And that's right.
There you go.
You have a privilege. You're here in America. You better be productive.
You better. That's right. Right.
The
Make
immigrant story
something
is
of
the real
yourself.
one.
That's right.
Because this isn't home to you.
And I'm also passing. I'm also like, oh, people look at me and assume I'm white. Well, I'm Jewish and I'm Israeli. Right. So, yeah, there's
That's
a lot
right.
that comes with that. But there's a lot all of us have on our shoulders, right?
So much. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm thankful that we held a safe container so other people can see themselves and they can let go of that burden, that pack sack. And it's like, oh, I can let out and exhale, and I'm not the only one. And then start to engage in that inner work.
Yeah. Yeah.
So important.
Because once you do that, it's so like you just realize that you're just scratching the surface of living a fuller, like more fulfilling existence, like what it's like to actually thrive in this life.
And not be lonely.
Loneliness is a
because
killer.
we carry this, right, solo.
Yeah.
Only you know that you feel this way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And who do you share that with?
Yeah.
I'm so honored that you're sharing it with us now. It's really
I didn't expect to, but I've been
honored.
Working on stuff today.
Yeah.
And so this is like always in the right time. Right? Yeah.
So Natalie, obviously you're gifted.
Yes, very much so.
And and because Denise is tough. She's strong. She got a lot of survival techniques. But you were able to connect with her today. And I know our listeners are feeling really like positive and curious and want to know about how to connect with you. So how can they find you?
My website's liftoneself.com. So that's liftoneself.com. I'm on all the social media under Lift Oneself also. I also have a podcast that's called Lift Oneself, where I have guests and we talk about different modalities. I go deep. And I also do a monologue. So I just riff and share my insights and my perspectives and even my own inner work. Really just bringing out that vulnerability. I'm presently writing a book too. It's it's complete now. It's just in the editing, and it's called The Gift Wrapped in Sandpaper. Your
Oh,
Untamed
I love that.
Power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good title.
Hmm. And so I'm hoping to get that published by September, October. I just have to, make sure I don't fall into my coping mechanisms of hiding, and because this is a
I can
really
relate.
big truth to come out in the gift of really understanding that nervous system and meeting yourself. So that's, I have, like I said, on the website or on my social media, just reach out. I'm very approachable, and I do one-on-one sessions, or I have the emotional sobriety workshop on there also.
Wonderful.
Amazing.
And if you can leave our listeners like with one last nugget, what do you want them ideally to walk away with from today?
Remember to be kind to yourself. You matter.
Absolutely.
Beautiful. Nat,
Absolutely.
thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
And thank you to everyone who showed up today to share in this moment with us. And I know you're here because you want to learn, you want to grow, and you want to have deeper relationships. And we love you. Kisses, hugs, and we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.